Tonight, of course, the ice dancing. We'll see who wins the gold medal. With us, Jayne Torvill and Christopher Dean. First up, we're going to see the Australian pair, Monica McDonald and Rodney Clark. And Jayne, they had a bit of bad luck at practice today.
Well, during the practice this morning, Rodney and Monica did a complete run-through. Most of the couples don't do a complete run-through. They save it for tonight, but they were very brave. They did a complete run-through of their program. And because we're at altitude, I guess Rodney suffered a little bit and had to have some oxygen afterwards. But I'm sure they'll be fine tonight.
Well, you used the word brave, and I guess you can only imagine the nerves they must feel here at these games, Chris.
Yeah, tonight's the big night. Tonight's, the final night. Everybody's excited. The audience come to this evening. This is one of the hot tickets of the whole Winter Olympics, I think. And so there's a lot of expectation.
Yes, you can feel it in the air. There's glitter, there's glamour, everything here tonight. And here they come, out onto the ice, Australia's own Monica McDonald and Rodney Clark.
Competitors de l'Australie. From Australia, Monica McDonald and Rodney Clark.
Monica and Rodney dancing tonight to music from that smash stage musical, La Cage aux Folles.
This part of the competition, the free dance, the final part, this is where there are relatively little rules in comparison to the other two parts. They have the freedom of choice of music and choreography, just that it has to be 4 minutes long, and there are certain rules regarding lifts and spins, but other than that, go and skate to the music.
And this, of course, worth 50% of the marks, and this will decide the gold medal here tonight in the ice dancing.
Monica and Rodney are covering the ice really well here.
I think they've improved a lot over the last couple of years. When we first saw them, they seem to have come on an awful lot now. A lot more confident in their skating.
The competitors are not allowed to do more than 5 lifts.
And there is a restriction on the height of the lift. They'll not be as high over the head lifts that the pair skaters do.
I guess being Jayne Torvill and Christopher Dean, the fewer restrictions in this event, as far as you're concerned, the better.
That's sort of how we feel. We feel that it even should be opened up a little bit more than it is, just to allow it to grow more competitively.
They certainly look as if they're enjoying themselves.
Yes, at this stage they look a lot more confident than they did in the original set pattern, don't they?
Yes, definitely.
From Sydney, Australia, the thrill of a lifetime as they dance the finale of their event, the ice dancing. Monica McDonald and Rodney Clark.
I think we're happy to do a nice, clean, competent routine, which they did. This morning in practice, as Jayne said earlier, he was suffering a little bit from his breathing, but tonight he didn't seem to have any problem.
Marks for Monica McDonald and Rodney Clark for technical note. Les notes pour mérite de technique 4.3, 4.2, 4.5, 4.4, 4.5, 4.2, 4.4, 4.5, 4.3, 4.3, 4.2, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.2, 4.5, 4.5, 4.3. Les notes pour impression artistique, marks for artistic impression, 4.4, 4.4, 4.5, 4.5, 4.6, 4.4, 4.5.
The first Olympics over and done with. They must be happy.
Yes, Rodney looks particularly happy. He's had a fair history in the sport, and of course the culmination of that tonight as he danced at the Winter Olympic Games with his partner Monica McDonald. I hope you're enjoying the free dance here in the ice dancing. We'll be back in a moment with the spectacular Duchesnays, Isabel and Paul. Welcome back to the Saddle Dome, the business end of the ice dance tonight, gold medal night, and getting ready for their performance, the spectacular Duchesnays from France, and of course the sound that you can hear is the beating of Christopher Dean and Jayne Torvill's heart. A big moment for them, a big moment for you too.
Yes, again, I think we're more nervous, or as nervous. Sweaty palms right now.
The type of music they're skating to is sort of has an African feel to it. It's called Savage Rite, and the whole dance system has a feeling of hunting and the rhythm of Africa, etc.
As their choreographers, did they have a choice in this, or was it a...
Oh, they did it.
That was a very difficult move, and they've often had spills in practice on that move, but tonight it was fine.
This is the exhausting part for Paul, I think, now.
Dancing by Paul and Isabel Duchesnays, choreography by Jayne Torvill and Christopher Dean, and once again the 19,000 fans here on their feet. Have a look at them to cheer this couple from France. The couple who again tonight have wowed the fans. Let's see if they impress these people in your picture now, the judges.
I think they're so happy to get through this. It's such a physical program for them. Every time they do it, they're physically exhausted at the end, and especially here with this altitude, I think they find it a real difficult job.
Here's one of the difficult lifts coming up on the replay. The timing has to be really perfect on that so that he can pull her through and catch him. Well, they must be pleased with that performance. And it was difficult stamina-wise for them, as Chris said, because they're at altitude here.
Duchesnays and Paul Duchesnays for technical merit. Technique 5.6, 5.2, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6, 5.4, 5.7, 5.6, 5.2, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6, 5.4, 5.7. Les notes d'impression artistique, marks for artistic impression, 5.1.
Well, that's an interesting set of marks.
5.0, 5.7.
Quite extraordinary variations in marks there.
Yeah, some of the judges chose to put them higher technically and really drop them artistically for whatever reason, and some have done the opposite.
The United States, Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory.
Despite Scott having an injured back, they seem to have been doing well so far in the competition. Doesn't seem to have been a problem for him.
Just going back a little earlier there to the marks awarded to the Duchesnays. Do you ever get the feeling, you're talking about restrictions in the event a little earlier on, because you two took this sport to a new level, people in fact were saying, well, they're so good, is it skating, is it theatre, is it ballet or what, that perhaps the conservative element in the sport said, well, we'll show them what it is, it's skating.
Well, since we finished competing, they had a new person who was in charge of the ice dancing section, and they decided to revise some of the rules, which in fact some of the moves and things that we did in Bolero would now be illegal, so we wouldn't be able to do that as it was.
Such as?
For instance, starting on the floor on our knees as we did. Apparently now you're not allowed to start on your knees, or you're not allowed to go on your knees or something during the number.
You're not allowed to go down to the ice at all. It sort of has to be running edges all the time. And the lifting, certainly not above the shoulder. No holding the boot now. They can hold just above the boot at the ankle, as you just saw Scott do there, but not actually at the boot.
So when you choreograph a routine, the limits are certainly not your imagination.
Well, you're choreographing to a certain set of rules and regulations, and sure, you know, it's a guideline to stay within so that everybody has the same standard to work by. Having said that, I just think it's a little bit repressive in the sense of allowing the sport to develop choreographically. I think it's sort of stinting the sport. As you see tonight, you know, there's a lot of couples that look very similar in style. It's sort of a little bit cloning them a little bit because, you know, they're guided by these rules and regulations, and basically the referees have said that to take the lead from ballroom stroke Viennese type dancing.
You just used the word standard. I would think, knowing you, that that's a word that you don't really like.
Well, the imagination is the exciting part about skating, is that, you know, it's still a relatively new sport in a choreographic sense, and what you can do with the movement, it's unique, and I think it should be allowed to develop. I mean, we can certainly do that now in our professional skating. Having said that, the eyes of the world are on the sport because of, you know, like the Olympics and the World Championships. So that's what they get to see mostly.
And they have just seen from the United States, Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory. As Jayne said, Scott's been skating with a ruptured disc in his back and a back brace, and to do that for over 4 minutes must be very, very tough.
They must be so thrilled that they're here and that they've actually made it through the competition now, because I'm sure it was very disappointing when only probably a month ago that they were, Scott was lying flat on his back recovering from that injury.
He's still not recovered. I believe he still has to have surgery at the end of this season.
What do skaters do when they're really badly hurt like that and they want to skate a routine? Do they have painkillers, or do they just put braces on, bandages? And
I think it depends at what stage they are. If it's early enough to try and recover, they will, but otherwise, if it's like at the last minute in the event, I think everybody wants to go out and compete, so whatever that would take.
.5, 5.4, 5.5, 5.4, 5.7, 5.6, 5.5, 5.5, 5.6. 5.5, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6. Des notes pour impression artistique, marks for artistic impression. 5.6, 5.5, 5.5, 5.4. 5.7, 5.6.
Marks that take Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory to the top of the competition here, at least at this stage in the ice dancing. I hope you're enjoying it from the Saddle Dome at Calgary. When we come back from Italy, Leah Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola. And welcome back to the Saddle Dome. Gold medal night in the ice dancing from Milano. Leah Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola.
Italian for Italian.
Yes, as you watch right around Australia, I think you might get the urge to ring Dial Pizza.
I expect someone to bring on the cornetos.
I know it's not a job that you ever want, Jayne, you told us that earlier, but how do you get to be a judge? Are you an ex-skater, or are you an official who has watched a lot and skated little?
Well, some countries don't really require you to have skated to any degree. They just require a written test, I believe. But mostly, I think most of the Western countries require that you've skated, and then you also have to judge an awful lot of competitions within your own country and be sort of assessed by already qualified judges before you get to this level.
Tonight, a lady called Anna Kisselgoff is in the audience, and she's a dance critic for the New York Times, so it'd be interesting to hear her comments on the evening, because it's the first time she's seen the competition too. So from an outsider's point of view, but a dance orientated person like that, it'd be interesting to hear her comments on those.
Yes, so all those who asked after watching you two, is it still skating, is it theatre, is it ballet, is it dance? Obviously the New York Times thinks it's dance.
Well, she sees it as its own medium. It's a form of dance, but it's ice skating. And I think she's intrigued by its movement. Very clever.
And I know all our viewers in Leichhardt in Sydney, Carlton in Melbourne, and all those other Italian ghettos around Australia will be loving this. From Milan in Italy, Leah Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola.
Well, that was a very happy performance. They looked like they were enjoying themselves out there.
Roberto is one of the characters that really loves his skating. He's been skating for a number of years now and had a few partners. This is his latest. I think they've been skating together for about 16 months now. And I think they've done really well just to get a sort of unison together.
Yes, his first partner, Isabella, decided to quit and get married. Roberto said, that's your choice, I'm staying in. Found a new partner. Said Leah was the only one good enough to be his partner.
Thank you, Leah.
Marks for Leah Trovati, Roberto Pelizzola for technical merit, Medley technique, 5.4, 5.3, 5.2, 5.2, 5.3, 5.3, 5.4, 5.3, 5.4. 5.4, 5.1, 5.2, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.3, 5.4. Marks for artistic impression, impression artistique, 5.4, 5.3, 5.3, 5.2,
and there are the marks for Leah Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola at the ice dancing gold medal night. I hope you're enjoying the action. In a moment when we return, the twins from West Germany, Antonia and Ferdinand Beckera. Welcome back to the Saddle Dome, and here they are from Konstanz, West Germany, the Beckera twins.
suits them.
The Beckerers dancing in clothes designed by their mum. And tonight, I must say, here on the 9 Network, we are dancing on cloud 9 ourselves, because the ratings for the Winter Olympic Games right around Australia have been nothing less than phenomenal. And that is due in no small part, I should say, to the commentary from you, Jayne and Chris. And we're just hoping that you come to Albertville with us for the next Winter Olympics.
Is that an invitation?
That is an invitation. Because we are really enjoying this, and the great thing is millions and millions of Australians are joining us.
This program is very nice, but it's not technically that difficult, and it seems a little bit, there's not much light and shade in it. They are good skaters, though. They have a nice flow over the ice and nice speed.
Yes, I guess they're not taking it to any new plateaus. Talking to you, I feel you stay in the sport, A, because you enjoy it, but B, because you keep searching for that next level, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, skating for us, the Olympics was a pinnacle, but we didn't consider it the top of the curve. That we felt that we were still on we wanted to learn more and go further. It was a stage of our career, and that after that we still went on, or still feel that we're going on developing and learning and progressing more with what we're trying to do with skating ourselves.
Unlike, I guess, some of the great medalists who've turned pro and gone to the ice capades or whatever, and I guess in some ways their talents have been a little lost.
Yeah, I think sometimes the tendency is I've made it to the top of my tree now, and it's time to go and earn some money and make a quick killing for a year or so. But we felt that we really wanted to go on, and that we felt that we had a life longer than a year or two after we turned professional. We've still got a few more years left yet.
From West Germany, the Beckerer twins skating here before a huge crowd, a capacity crowd of 19,000 at the Olympic Saddle Dome on gold medal night in the ice dancing.
It's nice to see that in most of the dance competitions you don't see too many falls, so it makes for a clean performance, and I think the audience enjoy that. I hope nobody falls over now, I've said that.
Talking about a clean performance, we're constantly told over the PA there is no smoking here, and in fact throughout these Winter Games at all the Olympic venues, smoking is forbidden.
For technical merits.
And as a non-smoker, that cheers me up no end.
5.3, 5.3, 5.2, 5.4, 5.4, 5.4, 5.3. 5.4, 5.4, 5.3, 5.2, 5.4, 5.4, 5.3.
I think why the ice dancing has an appeal is because of the boy-girl relationship on the ice, and that the reaction and interaction with each other is exciting for them to watch.
Well, there are the Beckerer twins from West Germany. I hope you're enjoying the ice dancing tonight, and we'll be back at the Saddle Dome in a moment with Clara Engi and Attila Toth. Next month in Budapest, Hungary, so this young couple won't have far to travel. That's where they live, Clara Engi and Attila Toth.
time that we've heard the music of Summertime tonight. Which is surprising again, because there's so much good music in the world to use.
Of course, coming up here at the Saddle Dome, we'll see the shootout between the ladies, and both Debbie Thomas and the reigning world champ and the defending medalist Katarina Witt have chosen Carmen. Have you ever skated in a big competition knowing that your opponents have the same music?
No.
That's not your style?
No. And also, you know, we try to find a piece of music, well, obviously, that says something to us that we either feel very strongly about, or we have a theme behind an idea that we want to portray on the ice, and then we find the music that is suitable to that. But in competition too, I think our selection of music, we always try to go, or at least find a piece of music that hadn't been used before and that wouldn't likely be used.
How much time will you put into a piece of music, listening, devouring it?
Well, when we were amateur skaters competing in these competitions, the music selection is constant. I mean, even during one season, we'll be listening for a piece of music for the future. And indeed, we've had pieces of music that were sort of put behind us and said one day it'll be right, and then we dig it out. And that's what happened with the Duchesnays piece of music. Actually, we had it for several years, and we were going to do a piece to it ourselves, but it seemed just right for them, so that was their selection. But when we were competing, it was a long process of talking it through with a certain group of people that we trusted their opinions, and whether they felt that it was appealing and a good selection of music. Because after all, once we'd chosen it for the season, you have to live with it for the whole season.
Were they skaters? Were they just good listeners? Were they choreographers?
A bit of everything. They were skaters, a few judges, trainers, friends.
Well, I saw them doing this program during the summer in practice, and they seem to have added a lot more difficulty than they had before, which is good.
Well, she is just 22, Clara Engi, and Natalia Toth, but a baby, 19 years of age, skating for Hungary here tonight. At this stage of the competition, the American pair, Scott Gregory and Susie Semanick, still lead in the ice dancing, but I know, like all of us, you're waiting for the great Russians, Bestemianova and Bukin, to come out and see whether or not they can crack that gold medal that really is rightfully theirs.
5.4, 5.4, 5.7, 5.5, 5.5, 5.4, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.4, 5.7, 5.7, 5.5, 5.4, 5.5. Les notes pour impression artistique. Marks for artistic impression. 5.5, 5.4, 5.5, 5.3, 5.6, 5.6, 5.5.
Well, right now we're going to take a coffee break here at the Saddle Dome. We'll come back with the aerials, and a little later another look at Eddie the Eagle, who took flight off the 90-metre ski jump today. The stories about Eddie seem to be endless here. Certainly Eddie's now making some money, a commodity he knew little about coming into these Winter Olympics. In fact, Robin Cousins was just telling me, the great skater, that at one stage Eddie told him that he was so broke when he was competing. Welcome back to the Saddle Dome, where we really are now down to the business end of the ice dancing. There are the great Russians, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin. They'll be out very shortly on the ice to see if they can crack that gold medal at the Olympics. Since Jayne and Chris turned professional, they've won everything. They've won the Worlds each year. They won the European each year. And a couple that are hoping to knock them over here tonight are also from Russia, Marina, Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko. There in the crowd, Katerina Godeva, already a gold medalist herself in the pairs here with Sergei Genrikh. Jayne and Chris, how do you feel tonight, sitting here knowing that you can't defend your gold medal? Is there a feeling of...
I think we miss performing. You know, we're envious of them out there performing tonight. And I guess in reflection, you know, we can feel how they're feeling, what they're going through now. Especially for Andrei and Natalia, having to do the warm-up, come off the ice. They'll be pacing about backstage now, not talking to each other, just getting ready mentally to go out and do it.
That's what interests me about skaters. It seems very few of you, if any, actually watch the previous routines.
No, we always made a point of not, because we didn't really want to see how other people did. We knew what we had to go and do, and that's what we were sort of concentrating on.
We never watched anything of anyone else, not even any of the trainings, because we preferred to just concentrate on what we were doing. A medley of music here by the Beatles.
Again, a classic pair, Marina and Sergei, who have gone on record as saying that that's the way they prefer it. In fact, they feel that their countrymen, Bestemianova and Bukin, slightly stretch the rules.
Everybody's criticised them doing that.
I thought that's what rules were there for, Christopher.
That's right. This couple have a lovely clean line, nice extension. They're really well matched, and their free dance really is their strong part.
Marina and Sergei, who were married after the '84 Olympic Games in Sarajevo. They earned the bronze behind Jayne and Chris and Bestemianova and Bukin, and they say it's better to dance now that they are married. She's very slight, Jayne. She'd be perhaps the slightest girl here tonight.
Yeah, she's not very tall and she has a lovely figure. She's very slim.
And that famous British band, the Beatles, ever so popular in their heyday in Russia, and popular here again tonight with the Russians, Marina, Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko, who I guess may have just about taken out a silver medal with that performance.
It's going to be interesting, I think, because Wilson and McCall have a very, very audience-orientated free dance, and they could clinch a silver medal, I think.
All right, of course, that is the Canadian pair yet to skate, Rob McCall.
I enjoyed their skating very much. It was a really clean, polished performance of
Rob and Tracy.
Of this couple, just gone. And I think
Marks for Marina,
they're going to have a pretty safe mark, but there is room there. There will be room there for Wilson McCall to possibly slip in. The interesting battle, and Wilson McCall last to skate of the evening, and so the audience will be charged up for a final performance, and especially a home crowd.
5.8, 5.8, 5.8, 5.7.
They are beautiful skaters, so technically their skating is very soft and very smooth. They make it look so easy.
Well, Sergei pacing up and down there like a caged tiger, waiting for those marks, and there they are. Here at the Saddle Dome tonight, we are watching gold medal night. Glad you could be with us right around Australia for the ice dancing. As Christopher Dean said, the hot ticket night of the games, and we'll be back with the world champions, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin, in just a moment. Welcome back to the Saddle Dome. This couple, the pair, who are indisputably the greatest amateur ice dancers in the world today, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin.
Well, I know how they must be feeling right now.
This is most probably one of their most critical performances that they'll ever have to do.
We were saying earlier that people were no longer allowed to start on their knees, but there you have it. But I guess it could be, if it's interpreted as part of the character of the program, that is allowed. So. Costume's interesting. It's actually shorts. It looks like a skirt, but they are little shorts.
Pantaloons?
Pantaloons, maybe.
strong program that will be worthy winners.
Yes, marvellous stuff there from the couple who for so long were the bridesmaids behind Jayne and Chris. And barring some extraordinary brain snap by the judges, you have just seen the gold medalists here in the ice dancing at the 1988 Winter Olympic Games, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin. The sort of performance you would have expected, Jayne? Were you looking for something a little quicker, more dramatic, or was that it?
I think they skated very well. I enjoyed it very much. I liked their choice of music. It suited them. And, well, as you said, I think that was the gold medal performance of the evening.
It's interesting to note that still the audience response to the Duchesnays.
But we're not biased.
We're not biased.
I know you're not biased, but if it was judged by an applause meter,
that's right,
they would be the gold medalists.
Then again, they're not the judges.
Well, there's a really good set of marks. They can't have hoped for more than that.
5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9.
Well, at the games in Sarajevo in 1984, at this time, the Sixers were ringing out for Jayne and Chris. But you can't get much closer than that.
I think we might get some Sixers in the next mark.
Marks for artistic impression.
3 6-0s, 5 9s and 1 5-8.
6.0.
And there they are, the gold medalists at the 1988 Winter Olympic Games, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin.
6.0.
And who could deny them that? They have waited a long, long time.
5.8.
We'll be back here at the Saddle Dome in just a moment to see whether Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall can grab the silver.
Canada, Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall.
And welcome back to the Saddle Dome. A huge response from the Canadian crowd to their pair, Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall, as they now battle it out for the silver.
I like this program very much. They've really got into the character of it. It's based on a ballet, Elite Syncopations, that was choreographed by, I believe, Sir Kenneth Macmillan, but it's done around the world now. And I think they do a really good interpretation of it. Scott Joplin music.
Their footwork in this is really incredible. It's very quick, very well rehearsed. They're very together.
Technically, I'd say possibly the strongest program technically.
Well, you certainly couldn't get a greater change of pace between these two, and the couple are going to battle the silver out for Marina, Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko.
Yeah, I think this is the battle shaping up between these two. It's going to be interesting to see how the judges mark this.
There's certainly room in the marks for them to move up.
A little trip by Rob there, but I don't think anything to worry about.
nice pieces from the ballet to use in the Joplin music, because they've chosen pieces that have light and shade, which is what you need in a free dance, because you've only got 4 minutes and you have to be as versatile as you can.
Great selection for the audience here. They're clapping along. I think they're really enjoying it.
Well, I'll be disappointed if they don't get a silver medal here. I think they deserve it.
Great performance.
Ragtime in Cowboy Town as Canada's Rob McCall and Tracy Wilson bring a bit of Scott Joplin to the Calgary Saddle Dome tonight.
The audience liked that, didn't they?
Well, they must be really pleased and relieved.
And after the, I guess, slight disappointment of Brian Orser missing out on the gold, the audience certainly want this pair, Rob and Tracy, to crack that silver medal here tonight. In a moment, we'll find out whether they have.
It's very hard to do this little toe pick work on over the ice at this speed, because obviously it's not a running edge, and so you're working against the ice. But they,
when you make it look as easy as they do, they're obviously very good.
Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall for technical merit.
Wow.
Pour mérite de technique. 5.8, 5.9, 5.7, 5.6.
Those marks, I think they'll be put up on this mark, so
5.7.
we'll have to wait and see.
5.8, 5.8, 5.8, 5.9, 5.7, 5.6, 5.8, 5.8, 5.7, 5.8, 5.8. Marks for artistic impression, pour impression artistique.
Well, I don't think they did it.
5.8, 5.8, 5.6.
Well, again, the judges in discord with the 19,000 fans here. We've seen that at least twice tonight. And it looks like Tracy and Rob will have to content themselves with a bronze medal. I hope you're enjoying the ice dancing tonight here at the Saddle Dome. It is gold medal night, and that's been won and lost. The great Russians, Bestemianova and Bukin, taking the gold. We'll have the presentations very shortly, but in a moment we'll be back with the sister and brother combination, Kathrin and Christoff Beck.
Kathrin Beck and Christoff Beck.
And as we welcome you back to the Saddle Dome on gold medal night in the ice dancing, there they are, from Austria, Christoff and Kathrin Beck.
These were the Duchesnays sort of rivals in the European Championships in Prague about a month ago. They were lying in 3rd position and the Duchesnays in 5th, and the end result was switched round. But I don't think so here in the Olympics. Girl, she's a very vivacious girl. She has a really good body movement.
They're presently lying in 5th place, which put them in the top group for the free dance, and having drawn to skate 2nd to last in the group, I think it's pretty sure that they'll keep their place of 5th.
But we've been wrong before tonight.
Yes.
You've been out of the amateurs too long.
That's it.
The brother and sister from Vienna, Austria, Christoff and Kathrin Beck. Kathrin still lives at home with her parents. Christoff's moved out. He's staying with his grandmother. He says that way we aren't with each other all day. Reminds me of a brother and a few sisters in our house back home in Sydney, Australia.
Well, they skated very well. They should be pleased with that performance.
I think that's why the audience, as Jayne saying earlier, enjoy the ice dancing, because there are less spills, less. The general standard is higher throughout the competition. Sometimes in the free skating, the lower group tend to be falling over a lot because they're trying to complete these 3 revolution jumps all the time.
Kathrin Beck and Christoff Beck for technical merit.
I think they enjoy it too, because it takes you back to a day and age of romance before the world went mad.
Yeah, the boy-girl relationship, watching 2 people skating together.
5.5, 5.7, 5.7, 5.5, 5.5, 5.7, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6, 5.5, 5.7, 5.7, 5.5, 5.5, 5.7. Marks for artistic impression. Les notes pour impression artistique. 5.7, 5.6, 5.7, 5.4.
Well, maybe a little disappointed with that. The Becks from Austria, Kathrin and Christoff. You're here with us right around Australia on gold medal night at the ice dancing at the Olympic Saddle Dome. And we'll be back with more with the Russians, Natalia, Annenko and Genrikh Sretenski in just a moment. With a few of the crowd still hurling abuse at the judges over the marking of the Becks in that last routine. Here are the Russians, Natalia Annenko and Genrikh Sretenski. And coming into tonight's program, they were lying 4th.
I like this couple. They're a quite good couple on the ice. They have good lines. She has a really great line when she's skating straight through legs, which I like to see, and he too.
I find the music a little bit uninteresting. I heard it today in practice, and I believe they're capable of doing something more interesting.
This couple also worked with Tarasova, the trainer of Andrei and Natalia.
attentive to the music from Romeo and Juliet, and I think I preferred the program that they did then to this one.
Natalia, Annenko and Genrikh Sretenski, who came onto the ice with a rough show of tipping the Canadians. Rob McCall and Tracy Wilson out of that bronze medal. I would doubt at this stage, having just watched that they've achieved that. However, as we are learning, judges are strange critters. I'm learning, I mean, you've known it for years.
Well, it's really hard, you know, the judging. There's so much pressure on a judge as well that they have to get people in the right place. If they're out of line with their judging to such an extreme, they will get a letter from the referee and possibly banned from judging again. And if they get too many letters, the whole country would be banned from judging international competition. So in a sense, they have to get it right. They have to get the order right. So there's a heck of a pressure on them. And so
what about pressure from your fellow countrymen? Pressure on Russian judges from the Russian nation at large?
Well, you know, there could well be that too. But generally, the Russians are at the top of the tree anyway, and so it really doesn't stick out of line. They are the best skaters at the moment.
5.7, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7. 5.7, 5.6, 5.5, 5.5, 5.8, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7. Marks for artistic impression. Les notes pour impression artistique. 5.8, 5.7, 5.7, 5.5, 5.7, 5.8.
Those marks will keep them in fourth place, I think. Despite I didn't feel that it was such a good program as they performed last year.
And at this stage, it is Bestemianova and Bukin rightfully winning the gold medal. Klimova and Ponomarenko winning the silver. And from Canada, the bronze medalists, Rob McCall and Tracy Wilson. And we await now the medal winners to come out onto the ice to be presented with their medals.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, the gold medalists in the dance event, les médailles d'or dans la compétition de danse. From the Soviet Union, de l'Union soviétique, Natalia Bestemianova, Andrei Bukin.
And out they come to receive their gold medal. A couple who are no doubt quite delighted that Jayne Torvill and Christine are up here in our commentary box tonight, talking to you right around Australia while they're out there getting that gold medal at last.
Yeah, they must be so relieved. I think this is possibly their last competitive amateur season, so what a way to finish it off. It was a great performance.
The silver medalists in the
What would it mean to them, Jayne, to finally win a gold medal? I mean, they've won the World Championship three times European champs. How much more important is it to crack gold at the Olympics?
I think it's very important. It's such a prestigious event, the Olympic Games, even though it's equal to a world championship for the ice dancers. It's everything about the Olympics is so special, and I think that's the reason they stayed in for these last 4 years, is to have another go at the Olympic gold, and when they've done it, they probably can't believe it right now, but they must be relieved it's all over.
I think Natalia is really tearful.
And a huge cheer predictably going up for the Canadians, who I guess were slightly bigger favourites with the crowd here than with the judges tonight. Nonetheless, they have won themselves that bronze medal. Yes. Rob McCall and Tracy Wilson.
A great performance from them. I enjoyed them very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, Prince Alexander de Merode, member of the Executive Board of the International Olympic Committee, Prince Alexandre de Merode, membre de la Commission Exécutive du Comité International Olympique, will present the medals to the victors. Remettra les médailles aux vainqueurs.
And a moment they've waited a long, long time for. They've been skating together for 10 years. Of course, skating a lot longer than that, though. And as Chris said, the culmination of their career. At the age of 30, Andrei Bukin gets that gold medal at last at the Winter Olympics. Natalia, 27 years of age. The silver medalist, Marina Klimova, and her partner, Sergei Ponomarenko.
They've always been the challengers to Andrei and Natalia. They've only ever succeeded in defeating them once in a competition in Moscow, I think. But for them, it's a move up the ladder. They've got the second silver medal this Olympics. They won bronze medal last, so maybe in another 4 years.
Maybe, although when you turned pro, I guess it was fairly clear that Natalia and Andrei would win a gold, but I'm not so sure when they retire that Sergei and Marina will necessarily step in.
No, I think, you know, after every Olympics, there's sort of a clean sweep and start again. So I think next year is going to be a very interesting year. Will set the trend for the following years up until the 1992 Olympics.
When the judges begin to appreciate the Duchesnays.
Who knows? That's Lawrence Demi. Jayne was told me that he presented our medal to us on the Olympics. I'd forgotten that. He was in charge of the ice dance when we were competing, and we feel that he encouraged the sport at that time, and indeed us, to do what we were doing. And since then, he's been moved up in the ISU and is no longer in charge of ice dance.
Please stand and share with these fine athletes their pride in their achievement.
And now the anthem they've waited to hear so long.
The national anthem, l'hymne national,
for ice dancing at the Winter Olympic Games. We're hearing it for Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin. With no mountains left to conquer, there they are at last. The Olympic gold medalists in the ice dance, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin. And as we leave the ice dancing here tonight on gold medal night, wrapping up your impressions.
Well, I enjoyed it very much. It brings back a flood of memories from 4 years ago, which just seems like yesterday for us. I feel really happy for Andrei and Natalia. They skated wonderful throughout the whole event, and certainly the best skaters around at the moment, so I'm really happy for them.
Well, it is nostalgic for me too, but it just seems quite different because we're in a different environment, a different rink. Perhaps if the Olympics were back again in Sarajevo, it would be even more nostalgic for me. But as Chris said, I'm really pleased that Natalia and Andrei won. It's a great night for them, and they thoroughly deserved it throughout the whole competition.
There's a lot of Russian celebrations tonight through till tomorrow morning.
A lot of vodka, I think.
Well, back in Australia, not so much vodka, but I'm sure a tinny or two being cracked tonight as millions sit back and enjoy these 15th Winter Olympic Games. Thanks for being with us again, Jayne and Chris. And we'll be back later in the week, of course, for the battle for the gold medal in the ladies figure skating. I hope you're enjoying Wide World of Sports tonight. I'll toddle back to the studio as usual. In a moment, we'll return with the 3,000 metres ladies speed.